All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Thank you for hanging out during that extended intro. Just had something to attend to, so sorry for the delay. But thanks for hanging out. Thank you. Let's get into it. I also didn't put Friday Fix in the title, but that's what it is. It's the usual. It's the Friday show, so we're going to do a little more hanging out, a little more interaction, and we're taking calls all day on Callin. So if you got something to say, feel free to call in. You know where it is, Black Bear News on Callin. Anyways, let's get into it. Hurricane Lee is now Hurricane 5, Category 5. So that's happening. As predicted, you know. It's tricky predicting the weather, but meteorologists are pretty good at what they do, right? They're pretty good at their jobs. Hurricane Lee has continued to outperform even the most aggressive intensity forecasts and may soon become a Category 5. I think it was already a 5, right? Two hurricane models are forecasting that Lee's maximum sustained winds will increase to 195 to 205 miles per hour tomorrow, which would be the highest wind speeds ever observed in an Atlantic hurricane. Lee has the potential to be one of the strongest hurricanes we've ever observed. In just over 24 hours, Hurricane Lee is rapidly intensified from a tropical storm to an extremely dangerous and powerful Category 5 hurricane, with sustained winds of 160 miles per hour as it barrels through the Atlantic. Yeah. Chocolate mint. A watermelon with chocolate mint. That sounds delicious. 85-foot waves possible? Is that real? I mean, that sounds kind of insane. 85-foot wave? Especially in Florida, right? Is it hot there, Osama? How hot is it? You guys still doing the summer sweat? Summer swelter? Again, I don't know. Guys, I was going to bring you, I mean, there's just a multitude of these flood videos. Sorry, had a sneeze coming up. Didn't quite happen. From Greece, from Hong Kong, from China, from all over. 105, Judy. Jeez. It's supposed to be warmer this weekend, but not too bad. Well, if you think like 90s or 90s are not too bad, it's going to be pretty hot. Before we get into an actual like fall. Hopefully, cross fingers, a fall cool down. This is some crazy Hong Kong flood footage here. Which you can't really see very well. I'm sorry about that. I guess it's warm enough for me to bring out the ice blocks. I should have brought out the ice blocks today. Imagine the dude who had to cancel his trip to Greece, Maui, and then stuck in Burning Man mud. Yeah, and the thing about Maui, we're going to talk about Maui some today. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because people are suffering there, and I see a lot of people going like, they need your tourism dollars. And in the immediate, sure. Although, you know, I'm sure it helps the tourism dollars in the immediate, but I don't know. The whole system is screwed. Right? You're gonna get. They're still gonna get. You can go over there and give them your tourism dollars, but they're still gonna be burned out of their homes. Are they going to get their homes back? Are they going to be forced to move elsewhere? Are they going to be forced? I don't know. Personally, it sounds a little weird, but I mean, unless you're going to go there and organize some kind of like localized, you know, boycott sit-in type thing, unless you're going to go there and shut everything down, which isn't a bad idea. right? If you got enough people to go over there and shut everything down, and bring some tourism dollars with you, but just literally shut I would say the way to shut it down would just be to stop the tourism. Because why are they going to build, they want to build maybe these development communities. They want to take over the land for what? Because it's high value real estate. So in the long run, a prolonged starvation of tourism would actually defeat their plans. In the immediate, sure, some tourism might help the locals with some dollars, but I don't know. What's done is done. How do you get the wealthy off that island? And I guess they're so wealthy it doesn't really matter, right? They should just own the whole island. I don't know. Again, though, everything is the wealthy are all dependent on us. Yeah, they have a lot of dollars, but the wealthy are dependent on our energy being in the system. So if you starve the system, then they don't have any power left. So I don't know. In the long run, shutting the system down is the way to go, obviously. And tourism is destroying the planet. So I'm actually all for no more tourism. Does that mean I'm supporting the rich people in their evil endeavors? No, not at all. But I think we have bigger issues. Right? And I don't know, the whole keep the tourism going, guys. It smacks of like George Bush after 9/11 saying yeah, come on everybody, keep on spending those dollars. Which is kind of like a weird reaction to a national catastrophe. Well, we're having problems, but what we need is some rampant consumerism to help everybody out. Well, if the structural issues are so deep that this kind of stuff is happening, in the end, tourism dollars aren't going to matter much. Again, in the short term, possibly. In the long term, no way. But how do we, maybe if there's a way to make it really uncomfortable for the wealthy to be there. Which again, if you're looking for a short-term solution, everybody fly there, shut down the entire, all the roads of Maui. Create such a spectacle that, it's impossible not to cover. Right? You'd have all the security forces and the police and everybody there trying to, move people away and, get people out of the way. But it would be impossible not to cover. You shut the whole island down. You could shut the whole island down and demand that these wealthy people get the hell out and leave the place for the locals to go back to, some kind of halfway decent way of living. How about that? How about that for a plan? But who knows? I don't know. Maybe they just have the bigger bigger bombs and bigger guns and from Whitney Webb today, which Whitney Webb along with most, I guess, people with their finger on the pulse of tyranny. Oprah and Dwayne have pissed off a lot of people. Yeah. Hell yeah. Fuck those people. Like seriously, I can't really candy code it. Fuck Oprah and fuck The Rock. And fuck those people. They should never get another dollar from you ever again. They should never get an eyeball from you ever again on any of their endeavors. Right? That's how that should go. Whitney Webb saying, if you think the U.S. government is at peak tyranny now, you are in for a big surprise, or in for big surprises over the next couple of years. What do y'all think? Are you mad at my cursing? I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get a little upset. And I try not to curse too much, but if I'm cursing, then I really mean it. But I hope you're not too offended. Sorry. And Oprah and The Rock deserve all the F-bombs they could possibly get. So does Biden. So, there you go. Anyways, this is interesting. Here's peak weirdness. Hold on, William, I see you. I'll take your call in a moment. Here's peak weirdness. Ringtail Fox says Occupy Wall Street was a little too effective and scary for the rich, so they came up with all this woke shit to divide and conquer. I mean, sure. It's one of the tools in the toolbox. I don't know how effective it was, so honestly. Occupy Wall Street, I mean, it had some support, but Occupy Wall Street didn't do jack shit other than get people together in parks. I mean, you have people in parks with signs. Sometimes they held out for a few years. In the end, they were all, rushed out. But I don't know what Occupy Wall Street did as far as like moving the needle on policies. Like they didn't do anything, not one thing. And I'm not, I know people might be pissed off that I say that. I'm not saying don't try. I'm not saying like, it was a waste of time. They didn't move the needle. That's the truth of it. They didn't move the needle at all. And they got the straight up boot. And when they got the boot, everybody was like, oh, darn, like, anyways. Yeah, no, I mean, I know what the message is, and I fully support their message. Don't get me wrong. Trust me, I totally support their message of Occupy Wall Street. But again, what I'm saying, they didn't do jack shit. Just like the Bernie movement, with all the awareness that it raised, did it move the needle on anything? Did it move the needle on anything other than making everything he said and stood for a campaign slogan for the Democratic Party all the way through the 2020 primaries, only to get Joe Biden in there and Joe Biden to go in the complete opposite direction of anything anybody was asking for on those stages. Occupy, open your eyes to the oppression of the state, Scott Andrews. All right, well then that's cool. I know they totally hated it. So what what do we got to do though? You know, Occupy Wall Street barely moved the needle. What do we got to do? Hey guys, hold on one sec. Can you guys chill for a moment? I gotta get. It's too warm in here. My computer is just really lagging, so I'm gonna have to get some ice blocks. Okay, give me a sec. Sorry for the delay, but it's just. All right. Okay, we're back. Thanks for your patience. It was just getting to the point where I could see carrying on with the rest of the show is going to be. I know you guys are not going to be happy. I knew you wouldn't be happy. I knew nobody would be happy about what I had to say about Occupy Wall Street. But I actually thought the Tea Party was more effective. They were. The Tea Party got people elected into Congress who actually kind of were a bit of a wrecking ball. You know, if you want to see more effectiveness in a political movement, the Tea Party was effective. Thanks, Osama. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm just saying, the other thing about it that bothered me, it was very, in a way, Occupy was already, there was already wokeness, right? There was already a woke contingent in the Occupy movement, and that's why they were so ineffective, because they were like, hey, we don't like this, right? What they needed to do was block the effing roads, right? What they needed to do is take their case to the man, and not just sit in parks and go, we don't like this. They sat in parks and they were like, yeah, kumbaya, and guitars and bongos, smoking some doobies. Yeah, we don't like this. And then the police came and went, get the hell out of here. So I know I'm pissing people off right now. I'm pissing people off. Totally pissing people off right now. But that was why it was ineffective, because it was too we don't even know how to organize anymore. You need to be a little more aggressive, right? The Tea Party was way more aggressive and way more organized, and figured out how to get people into office, and got John Boehner out of office. Yeah, so I know I'm not making any friends here. So But you know, Occupy Wall Street turned into Bernie Sanders, turned into fake progressives running for office, right? Turned into AOC, and it's just you know, I agree and I totally support the sentiment and the you know, the attitude and the, you know, thoughts and prayers. I agree and support that, but agree with and support that, but you got to get a little rougher. You got to get a little rougher around the edges. And you got to have some organization, and you got to have some, you know, I don't know what. We can go, you could just need to look back through history to see how it's done, right? We don't look, we're like, well, it's a new thing. There are no leaders and we don't even know what we're doing. And there's no, like, anybody watch when Jimmy Dore was talking about the Starbucks union drive? Yeah, you know, there's a history of what unions, you know, actually demanding and getting the things they wanted with particular tactics against the employers. But, you know, he was saying, you know, the Starbucks people are like, well, we're all, you know, we want better for the partners, and we don't, you know, we're just, I think that they are doing a good job, but they ultimately aren't really being very successful. So you're going to need to you're going to need to you're going to need to figure out how to organize, you know, figure out who the leader is, figure out who, you know, what you want, figure out what your demands are, you know, figure out what you know, figure out how badly you want what it is you're asking, you know, fighting for. Just saying. And when your leader is Bernie Sanders and he doesn't go for it and actually oppose the state and ends up endorsing the candidate, then you know that that was a fake movement, right? I can't believe you guys are so sensitive about my cursing. You guys are just so, you know, you know, your values, your morals and your values are just really high. Anyways, didn't know I was, you know, leading a church group. Bernie didn't want to be JFK, sure. But that's where we are, though. I mean, I think that's where we are. Sorry, William and Amanda, I see you guys. I was going to take your calls. Just hang out. I'm going to take your call. Insult chatters. I'm not insulting chatters. I'm being funny. Do you I mean, are you guys now you don't know comedy? You don't understand comedy? I'm not insulting the chatters. I'm making fun of your oh my god. And maybe you're making fun of my cursing. I don't really care. I'm having a good time. Anyways, if you feel insulted, I'm sorry. My apologies. Anyways. All right. So, hey, callers, anybody who wants to call in, I'll take your calls. I'm sorry. I know I'm not trying to. I know I said I was going to take calls today. So, what's up, William? How you doing?
Hey, Kev. Well, I wanted to focus on Lahaina, but if Amanda wants to jump in on Occupy, I could hang up. She had called in earlier. I just wanted to invite her to do that because once we go in the Lahaina direction, that's a whole nother thing, you know. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's all good. I mean,
Oh, she
whatever,
says she's good. She says she's good. Okay.
whatever y'all want to talk about. It's open. It's open. Oh, hold on one second. Are you? Hold on one second. You, yeah, you guys are funny. You chatters are hilarious. I well, you guys are funny. All right, what's up, William? How you doing? Are you there? I can't hear you. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Something's going on.
Me
Okay.
now?
Yes, yes.
I'll try. You can. Okay. All
I
right.
can hear you.
Okay. All right. So going in the Lahaina direction, did you have a chance to look at Peter McCullough's link I sent you yesterday, or Dr. David Martin?
I did not. I did not. I did not. I'm sorry.
I'm
After I do my show, I have to go to work, and
okay.
so I'm like, I don't have. I'm not. I don't have the time. I don't have a lot of time for. Sometimes I can look at the documents. Sometimes I can't.
No, I got it. I got it. I'm trying to decide where to pick up. There's so much here, leading up to the fire, and then what's happened since. And for some reason, I had it all in the live chat. And now when I go to look at it, I can't pull it all up again. Well, anyway, okay. So we got.
Well. Do you want? Hold on. Let me. I've got a couple of videos here.
Okay, why don't you do that?
Well, I was going to. I'll play this Dick Cheney video later, but Dick Cheney is saying, real quick, in our nation's 246-year history, we've never had a threat like Trump. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney. And so Kim Iverson retweeted that and said, like, I'm definitely voting for Trump now. I think she's joking, but who knows? I just thought that was hilarious. But let me. I'm going to play this. I'll play the video in a second. I don't even know if you need to listen to that. This is from Holding Biden Accountable. If you actually listen to the Hawaiian locals, what Biden and FEMA have done and not done after the fire is nothing short of a scandal being covered up. And these aren't disgruntled Republicans. Hawaii is a very blue state. It's the fifth bluest state. And this is Jeremy Lafredo, excuse me. I just returned from Maui. The locals in Lahaina believe they're being deceived, sabotaged, and taken advantage of. Most natives are suspicious they'll soon be the victims of a draconian land grab. Didn't they have this? Didn't they have those feelings when before they were a state? I think they had the same feelings. They should probably get in touch with those feelings. Locals explained to me on the record how actual death count is in the thousands, how FEMA confiscated local supplies, food, and water to dismantle unofficial but effective aid efforts, and how wealthy mainland interests are trying to get natives off the land. Yeah, I think, more than well, let's play this video. Well, it's short.
I think it's in 1,000, not hundreds. And this newscast is still watching the news, 114, 114. Stopped on that number for several days? No, there's no way. There's more than that.
FEMA took away all the stuff that the local people was giving out on the side of the road and said, no, okay, it's we're going to take over. Yeah, they took over. This guy went down to Lahaina with a lowboy with all the water and all this stuff, and they hoarded all of that stuff. They took it away from everybody. Why? The locals was doing a killer job. They opened up, spots here, there. Our small county was doing the same thing. They was giving out meds. They was doing all this stuff. Everybody was trying. The local people, everybody was just all working together. And then FEMA and all these guys come in and they kiboshed. And then they wonder why nobody believes in Red Cross and FEMA and all these guys.
As far as most of the locals, like the native locals are concerned, this is basically a war crime.
When something happened, a disaster happened, oh, let's get their money. Let's buy their land. let's offer them very cheap. Oh, 100,000, but we'll resell for 1,000,000 or maybe 1 billion.
And the next day I came back to get my animals, and I saw all the vehicles that I was like standing in traffic to escape town. They were still in there, all burned down. And it was only locals pulling bodies out of the water and pulling people out of the water because we had no help.
Testifying on my concerns of the governor's emergency proclamation that happened 3 weeks prior to the fire.
They already had stuff in the planning and everything passed. You know, their plans was all passed already. And that's why everybody thinks that they created this fire. They did this.
May God bless all those we've lost. May God find those who we haven't determined yet. And may God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
Okay. There's another video, William, of so many coincidences.
Right. Can you put those in the chat for me, Kev? Or can I give you my email? I'd love to have those.
Let's see. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
There's another good one here. Yeah, let's see. Hey. Whoop.
Yeah, what I have in the chat
Oh, whoops.
substantiates.
Hold on.
You're-
Hold on 1 second, William. Where? I was trying to get into this. Here we go. I'm putting it in the chat.
Thank you.
Well, and give me 1 second because I'm going to put something else in the chat, and then I'm going to close this. Here we go. What's going on in the chat, guys?
Are you talking about the call-in chat or the YouTube chat?
The call-in chat seemed a little bit weird. Anyways, let's play this. So many coincidences.
Great.
Somewhere in here. Anyways, this is a woman talking about how all of the things that have been happening that seem a little hinky.
So it's just a coincidence that the police chief was the same man in charge of the Las Vegas shooting. And it's just a huge coincidence that property owned by millionaires and billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Oprah, and the founder of PayPal remained untouched, while the land of the natives burned only a few feet away, literally. And it's just a huge coincidence that the island had the largest system of outdoor sirens in the world, yet they decided not to sound them or alert anybody in any way. And it's just a huge coincidence that they closed all of the schools, sent all of the children home, and turned off the water as soon as the fires started so that people couldn't put them out. And it's just a coincidence that under orders, policemen blockaded the exits, didn't allow anyone to evacuate, and forced them to jump in the water to save their own lives. And it's just a coincidence that the island is set to be the very first to operate on 100% renewable energy. And to do so, they must significantly decrease their CO2 emissions. And it's just a huge coincidence that 1 month prior to the fires, the mayor issued a press release highlighting his commitment to the United Nations 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development. And it's just a coincidence that Hawaii is the only state to have submitted a voluntary local review, which is a framework and goal set to achieve sustainable development. And it's just a huge coincidence that BlackRock and the United States government are 2 out of the 3 largest landowners on the island who have been trying to buy up the land from the natives for the past few decades, who refuse to sell, and both of them are part of the renewable energy agenda. And it's just a huge coincidence that the survivors' homes that are still standing are now being evicted. And it's just a coincidence that the fact checkers saying that all of this is a coincidence are owned by BlackRock. At this point, if you believe that all of these are coincidences, you are the crazy one, not me. Google is not going to come out and tell you what's going on, and even if they did, a lot of you wouldn't even believe it unless it was from a government or fact-checking website. But guess what? They're not going to tattle on themselves, so you need to think for yourself. We should be absolutely enraged about these fires. We really need to stand up and do something, because things like this are just going to keep happening, because we allow them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's yeah. But I also think it's I was here I heard that Oprah and The Rock got a lot of pushback on that video. Like, they took down those videos asking for money. Right? They've backtracked from that whole thing because everybody's like, no. And there's a lot of people. There's so many of these videos. There's so many people kind of exposing what's going on there. From left and right. These are, again, these are not Republicans. As the first first video I played, these are not Republicans. These are, Hawaiians are good. I don't know what you want to call it, but good, Marx toting lefties, right? No, I don't know if they're Marx toting, but they're lefties. It's a very, very liberal state, right? It's a very democratic state. It's a super democratic state. Well, a lot like California. So, and they're equally, as equally skeptical about the government and their intentions as anybody else. And that's the true meaning of wokeness, right? Woke has been categorized as something else. But woke means you're awake to the games of the people in charge. That's the original meaning of it. That's still the meaning of it if you're awake, right? So you can be a woke lefty or a woke righty. You could be, are you awake? Are you aware? Are you in tune with the scams that are being played on you? That's woke. That's not, woke isn't just about, what we usually think it is, right? It's not just racism or just trans issues or just, something else, right? Anti-Semitism issue. That's not woke. That's something else. It's wokeness twisted. Anyways, what's up, Wayne? What's up, man?
Hey, good. Before we get going, could you put that in the chat too? I got the first Twitter link, but I didn't get
I did put that in the chat.
Oh, you did?
I did. I'm pretty sure.
For some reason, it's not showing up for me. Well, that's okay. I'll let me talk, and then I'll try and load the chat again. Well, what I have in the chat corroborates everything you're saying. I think rather than backtrack on it all, the other question is, where are the kids? Why?
Yeah.
Think about it, Kevin.
Yeah.
The schools, from what I understand, all but one was completely unscathed. Think about it. A school with zoning codes today, the wooden school buildings are long gone. They may be historic, but no one's going to school there. All the present schools are brick and mortar with a tar roof. Plus, they have parking lots and playing fields and, playgrounds. So you have huge fire breaks. So they ended up fine. Why would you send kids home from there to an empty house? Isn't that not child abandonment? What school board official, what principal went along with that? Number one, I don't have kids, but you do. If you were out at work and you found out your kids were sent home to an empty house and the fire raged in, and plus the other thing is, not only did those sirens not go off, but no one received Amber Alerts. In other words, that they were sending the kids home or that there was a fire approaching on their phones. So that's what I understood. So You tell me as a parent, wouldn't you think that was child abandonment? I would think, and that if your kid was sent home without you knowing, or because you're at work, I don't know. What? Go ahead.
No, I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah, no, it's a weird. That is something that happened, and that's a strange occurrence, confluence of things, right?
yeah. The other thing is, I put a video in. There's on school buses missing. It was a typo come up. Sunburn. It's supposed to be unburned. Fact. Spell check. But there's apparently, of the 18 school buses, large school buses that are normally parked in the parking lot where they keep the school buses, there's 12 missing. Even now, as when that video was posted recently, I would say within the last 2 days is when I found it, and I think it was that current. And there's also 2 smaller school buses missing. The large school buses can hold 72 kids each, and you got 12 missing. And then there's 2 smaller school buses that can hold 12 to 30 kids each. So you're looking at nearly 1,000 kids. Where are those buses? There's sex trafficking is a problem anywhere there's a crisis.
Yeah. I saw another few videos of some women, younger women in Maui who were like, there's all this stuff going. I don't want to really. That's an issue I don't want to get super deep into. But yes, that's happening too, right? And they were talking about that. They were talking about trafficking rings on the islands and who runs them, and and I was like, whoa, dang.
Well, I'll say Robert David Steele, who hosted the International Tribunal for Natural Justice, he was CIA Marine, said that our military bases even are lily pads for money laundering, resource theft, and sex trafficking. And so that's him, and that was in 2018 when he hosted that seminar. So it's not unusual. There's scandals, if you follow from the UN to the Boy Scouts to the church to the, it seems endless. Dynacorp, I'm just off the top of my head. The World Health Organization, they've all had sex trafficking scandals, universities,
sure.
And it's always covered up. So my question is, who would send those kids home? How many of them were really sent home? And where's the DNA proof that we're not getting reports? I've heard up to 2,000 kids missing, then it's fluctuated drastically to 1,200, and maybe even as few as 385 now. But where the chief of police is also the coroner, which is not normal. You see what I mean? They're usually separate positions. And
really?
I think yes, and
okay.
yes.
I didn't know that.
He came from Las Vegas.
But
that Las Vegas.
Yeah. But I didn't know he was also he's acting as a coroner. That's really weird.
It's very strange.
That's very, very strange. Well, I didn't hear anything about the buses. I just heard that there were a lot of people missing and kids missing. And so, I don't know, man. I mean, those are all really good questions. Are they victims of the fire? Are they, just quote unquote missing? Are they, I don't know. I don't know. But people, a lot of people have been asking that same question. So it's not a weird question. It's not that's not out of the realm of, because a lot of people are saying, okay, we know there's a bunch of kids missing. Where are they? Where did they go? What's going on? So, you're not alone in that question. That's not a weird question to ask. That's,
Well, I think the very first premise is who authorized sending them home. Also, how come no one's interviewed the bus drivers?
I don't know that whole angle. I didn't know anything about that angle of the story. Real quick though, before we go forward, I'm gonna just say, if you enjoy the show, these are the ways you can support the show: PayPal.me/Kevin Sandblum, Venmo at Kevin Sandblum, Cash App at Red Llama Music, BuyMeACoffee.com/Black Bear News. You guys can super chat me or super ray me, and about Patreon, etc. Just had to get that in there before I'll come back at the end of the show, and I'll, it was getting late and I didn't want to do that. All right.
Well, maybe we could follow that up, keep trying to follow that up, because it's highly sus. First of all, who authorized sending them home? Why aren't they being grilled? Why would a principal go along with that? I don't get it. I mean, and then where there's interviews of the people who are responsible and who actually did the transporting. It seems to me there needs to be a lot of follow-up, but of course we have a media blackout on a lot of these things, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I don't see that link in the chat. I don't know if you could try put it in again in the call-in chat. I'm not seeing it at my end, but and then, you know, I know you want to wrap it up. We can talk more another day about it. Just let me know when you think you may want to dig a little deeper. For those who don't know, Governor Green, there's some very unusual things. About a month before it was mentioned, he signed emergency proclamations to hop, skip, and jump right over land appropriation official commissions that normally take place for what was supposed to be emergency housing, but it doesn't provide housing for those affordable housing. And so that was bizarre. And then you have the digital conference that is held there every year, and the UN meeting where Governor Green went to. It's all about making it, a smart city. I mean, there's so much seems to be playing into this. Last thing I'll mention, Kev, is, arborist Robert Brame covers this with a woman who's staying on the Big Island. There's a video there, and he equates it to the Paradise Fires and patterning he's seeing. Might be something you want to consider exploring. Also, the Skyway leading out of Paradise, the police blocked people in, and there was no Amber Alert there either to people's phones. Some very strange coincidences, along with patterning that Robert Brame, the arborist, points out regarding the fire patterning that are very unusual. So I don't know if you want to go there time, but anyway, it's in your live chat, and I appreciate your time, and I know you like to wrap it up on time. So
yeah, and I just put that link in the chat just now.
Oh, you did again?
Yeah.
For heaven's sakes,
yeah.
There must be a glitch in the app that happens. I'm just not getting it. So
okay.
I got the Twitter one.
Okay.
But anyway, bro, I could follow up you on that link another time or something. So thank you for taking my call and discussing this issue.
For sure, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Welcome.
All right, thanks, William. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out today. I did not get a chance to play. Did I play this video, or did y'all see this video of Hong Kong floods real quick before we go? Have to at least play the the clip that I got the thumbnail from. People are having a hard time just getting where they need to go. Most likely, all of these machinations of the powers that be or the elites or whatever to kind of, corral everybody into a system obviously is, most likely to get people under control before like the real panic about the state of our planet sets in, right? People are going to lose their boo-hoo. I was trying not to curse. Make anybody upset. People are going to lose their ever-loving minds, right? When they realize like what's happening to the planet, when it really dawns on them, when it really sets in, when they get beyond the no, man, that's a bunch of stuff the Club of Rome thought up and stuff. I know all about that. I know. Right? When it really dawns on them how messed up everything is, they're going to be like, "Hey, I'm pissed," right? But by that time, hopefully everybody is like hooked into I'm not saying hopefully myself. I'm saying for the people in charge, hopefully for them, everybody will be hooked into the control grid, right? Everybody will be won't be able to like fend for themselves or move around or do anything without, checking in with their digital app or their digital policeman, or a robot dog will show up outside of their front door, right? They want to get everybody like tightly controlled before people start getting really pissed, But as far going back to Hawaii real quick, I know people on Rockfin. Hey, Rockfinners, I did check in for a second to check out the chats, and I see y'all. I see y'all. Gene, what's up? Going back to the whole like spend your tourism dollars to help the locals out. Sure, I'm not against that. I'm not saying don't do that. And I think that anybody who has the ability or the capabilities to help financially in whatever way that you can help the locals there without, going through Oprah and The Rock. Oprah and The Rock sounds like a really good, crime TV drama. Oprah and The Rock, something like that. If there's a way that you can help people out, I think that you should do it in the immediate. But I'm talking about as a structural, like we have structural problems, and eventually, like hopefully the structural problems, and fixing the structural problems involves, people going back to living, kind of closer to the land, and not having tourism be a way that people make their money. Because that is something that's a development of the industrialized world, right? That is going to go away, needs to go. It's going to go away. So if you live in a place that relies on tourism dollars, and you think that's the future, that is not the future. Those tourism dollars are going to go away. It's all going to go away. So that's probably the worst place you could possibly be, is relying on tourism dollars. You want to rely on some other kind of dollars, or rely on growing your own food, or getting subsistence, in another way. Just that's a future. That's a long-term goal, right? A future plan. You might rely on the tourism dollars right now in the immediate, but what you want to do is get off of those tourism dollars as quickly as you can, because tourism is going to go away. And that's, just how it is. Sorry to tell you that, but you should know that, plan for that, and then you'll be, you won't be like, whoa, what's happening? Right? I'm sorry, the autocorrect messed up your joke. Global solidarity. What, you want to retype? We're all waiting with bated breath for this joke. Y'all good, Rockfinners? I see you. People hanging out on Rockfin. Just hanging out there being the cool kids on Rockfin. I see you. All right. Yeah. Checking in, see if I got any tip skis on the climate protesters should have blocked the burners from leaving the desert. Maybe. Just checking to see if I got any messages, donations. Other than that, I think I probably will wrap up the show. Thanks for calling in, William. Thanks to everybody who supports the show. I appreciate y'all. And we'll be back at the regular time tomorrow of 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And you know this. Oh, Denver, you got here for the end of the show. All good. Well, good to see you, Denver. I'm about to sign out here. But I will see everyone tomorrow at the regular time, and I appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.